fourth grade. I'm Mr. Grove.
I'm Mrs. Nutt.
I'm Mrs. Bertel.
I'm Mrs. Shin, and we're excited to talk to you about your child's fourth grade year.
So before we get into the academics, we're going to start off with our school-wide discipline plan so that students understand what's expected of them so they can be successful academically. So again, this year we are using our 5 school rules across the school, which are follow directions quickly, raise your hand for permission to speak, raise your hand for permission to leave your seat, make smart choices, and keep learning safe and fun for everyone. And that encompasses a lot of behaviors. So we're going to have a consistent visual system that allows our students to monitor their behavior choices, and we're going to communicate that with their families through their agenda books. And we have a green, which is our daily goal for kids to come home on green. If they're kind of struggling a little bit or maybe are a little silly and just need a little bit of warning, they'll move to yellow. If they have a chance to reflect and they're not able to kind of get their behaviors back in check, they'll move to orange, which is a little reflection home to parents. And then if it continues, will be a phone call to a parent on red. And then finally, blue would be an office visit. It's important to say that kids do start on green every day. And if they move to yellow, if they come in the morning and they have a bad day, there's always that opportunity to go back to green if they're able to reflect upon their behaviors and pull themselves together so that they're able to learn. We're going to be continuing our silent hallways and silent dismissals, and that is to promote a safe learning environment. It's important to understand that not all students are moving in the hallway at the same time. So if we have a loud and rowdy hallway, that could interrupt learning for our younger students or other students in the building. And then dismissals, there's a lot going on at dismissal. There are dismissal changes, making sure all of our students get to where they need to go. So that's why it's going to be important to continue our silent hallways and silent dismissals, and hopefully as we'll enforce that, and hopefully you can remind students at home if they do come home with some reminder about silent hallways or silent dismissals, the importance of why they should be silent.
We will continue to use Canvas this year, just as we did last year. We'll be using it a lot in various subject areas. So students should be somewhat familiar with it from last year, but you can access Canvas by going to start.hcps.org, which is the home button on the student's Chromebook. So students will be getting report cards every quarter, again, this year, just like last year. We do encourage parents to check Home Access Center every few weeks. When we upload grades, when we put grades onto Home Access Center, parents cannot see those grades right away, but we do upload them and post them every few weeks. So we encourage parents and students to go on there and take a look, and you can see what their grades are and if there's any missing work. Just a reminder that students should be in school by 8:50 each day. After 9 o'clock is when they are marked late, but 8:50 is when the announcements come on. If your child is absent from school due to an illness, they are responsible for making up the work. If they are absent, please send a note in with them the next day. Or email, but a note is better because we do have to send that to the office. And as a reminder, just like last year, our nurse is Heather Thornton, and her email is on the screen if you need to get in touch with her for any reason.
Something new in fourth grade, another opportunity for students is band or orchestra. Our band teacher, Miss Michael, is fantastic, and she will schedule appointments to discuss band with our classes. If you have any questions about band or any of the instruments, you can find her email on the screen. And just so you're aware, students will be responsible for getting any missed work because they will be missing class time and completing it that evening so that they're caught up on their work for the next day of school. And in fourth grade, we also do switch classes. We have a block schedule. So the ELA block is taught by Mrs. Pertel and Mrs. Shin, and they will be teaching your child reading and word study. And our STEM block is taught by Mr. Grove and myself, Mrs. Nutt, and we teach math, science, and social studies. This is the overall fourth grade schedule for this year. We will start our day after students arrive in homeroom with a class meeting, and then begin with writing. Writing will be taught in our homeroom classes. Then students will switch to their block 1 teacher. They'll go to special areas, come back and finish block 1, go to lunch, go to their block 2 classes, recess, and then something we are beginning this year is something called a SOAR block. And this is an opportunity at the end of the day to meet with students in small groups to work on any of their needs, and then dismissal. As I said, we'll be teaching writing in homeroom, and these are some of the writing pieces we'll be working on this year: opinion pieces, informative or explanatory texts, narrative texts, which focus on realistic fiction, and short research projects.
So in our English language arts blocks, we will be using the reading units of study, just like we did last year. And throughout the year, we will be working on fiction and nonfiction. And we have 3 fiction units: interpreting characters, where we look at characters' traits, motivations, and then detail and synthesis, where we dig a little deeper in that, and then historical fiction. And our nonfiction units are reading the weather, reading the world. So our topic of study is weather, but we focus more on the reading strategies, not actually learning about weather. We're really trying to teach the strategies you use to read nonfiction. And then reading history, which focuses on the Revolutionary War. And finally, we will be doing word study. And within word study, we use the Common Core to fill in for any of those types of skills that we need. We work on homophones, synonyms, antonyms, parts of words, Latin roots, prefixes, suffixes, those types of skills. There are no spelling assessments or spelling lists that come home, so they will not have spelling homework, but every night you should expect your child to have reading homework, and they have a reading log that they'll be filling out as part of that reading homework.
So this year we'll continue using the Envision as our math. You will see that we are going to be using the Envision book itself, and we're actually going to have then also a journal that a lot of the kids will do a lot of the work in, or even resources that we have. So you can expect to see them bring that home every night. That resource book is very helpful. It usually takes something that maybe we did during the day and we put it in there for them to have help. We will be having math daily, and they will be having math homework every night, Monday through Thursday. And then our first topic that we'll be focusing on this year will be place value. For social studies and science, there are 4 units for each one. Social studies, as you can see there, Native Americans, Age of Exploration, Colonies, and the American Revolution. And then science, the physical science, the life science, and the earth and space. Usually how we work this is we'll start out with social studies. We'll run that for a few weeks and finish the first unit, and then we'll switch over to science. Once again, we will be using spirals to put all the information in and any resources in. So you can ask your kids if they want to bring those home. You can see what we're working on during the daytime. Homework. As we said before, your kids are going to have homework pretty much every night, Monday through Friday. You'll see that they have a bring home or a take home folder. We're going to ask that you look through that every single night to try and either clean out things, to see if there's something that we sent home for you to fill out. A lot of times they'll be bringing their agenda book home as well for you to look at. That's a great way for us to communicate with you if we want to write a message in there, or if your child is on yellow for the day or something like that, all that information will be in there. So these are some things that you should definitely be looking at, not just at their homework for math or for reading, but also be looking at their bring home or take home folders and their agenda books. Please, again, try to keep those cleaned out best as you can. So we look forward to a fabulous year with everyone. Also, in the inside of the agenda books, you will see is each of our emails that you can get in touch with us. So please feel free to do that, and always reach out if you have any questions, and we'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.